Hello, this is Noreen from diycards, and I'm an independent Stampin' Up demonstrator, and welcome to my YouTube channel. Yay! For more of my Stampin' Up card videos, please click that subscribe button and the little bell, and you'll be notified when my videos release. Also, I give away the demo card, so if you're a first-time subscriber, put your email in the comments and I'll email you back and let you know if you won the card. Also, make sure you watch the video all the way through, because you never know, I might give the card away to anyone, or I might be doing card kits or swaps or something. So anyway, now let's go make a card. Today's card is actually mainly from fieldjournal. I love the ducks, and I got two cards here using the kind of the same things but totally different. So the first thing you'll notice is that the backgrounds look different. This one I used with the Stampin Blends, and this one I used with the new blending brushes. And then this background has the rectangle stitch frames all the way through, and this one I just cut them and put them together. And then the inside I sponged the white and I left the duck plain, and this one is white and I colored the duck. Now when I asked my daughter which one she liked better, she likes a hybrid of each one. So she likes the blending brushes background rather than the Stampin' Blends, and she liked this base rather than the rectangle stitch frames, and she liked to color. So we're going to do a hybrid. So there's 3 demo cards to win. I'm going to give one to an already subscribed person. So if you're already subscribed, put your email in the comments. I'll email you back and let you know if you're the first and if you won the card. And I'm going to give the other 2 away for new subscribers. So if you're a new subscriber, click that bell, don't forget, because then my videos come up all the time. But put your email in the comments and I'll email you back and I'll let you know if you won the card and I'll mail it out. So we're going to do the hybrid. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the Calypso Coral card base, and this is in the 5.5 by 4 1/4. Then I'm going to take a piece of black, and this is going to be 5.25 by 3.75, and it's going to be like this here. So we're going to mount it up high, and then we want to take a piece of shimmery white. Make sure it's shimmery white, because we're going to be doing some blending and it always looks prettier on shimmery white. And the shimmery white is going to be 3.5 by 5. The first thing we can do is go ahead and we'll take the black and we'll mount it on the card base here, and we want it up toward the top because we need enough room for the sentiment to come into play. So I'm putting it right there. So we're going to take this and put it to the side. Now we need to make our mask. So what we're going to do is we're going to take the duck and we're going to put some post-it notes right across this little part of the body. And what I'm trying to do is also make a flat surface, because there's a flat surface on the water. If you notice on my first card, because I did the Stampin' Blends first, he's got a round body and I tried to cover that up. And then this one I made it flat with the post-it notes. So we're going to make this flat, and then go ahead and take your memento and stamp it up here. And this is just for a mask, so it doesn't have to be perfect. And just take some scrap white and take off the post-it notes and stamp it down. Okay, and then you're going to fussy cut this out and make a mask. And your mask is going to look like this. So I've already done this, obviously. So that's what you're going to do first. Now you're going to take that shimmer white that's cut 3.5 by 5. Now this is your piece that you're going to do, and you're going to grab some post-it notes again, and you're going to cut off that bottom half so you don't ink it, because covering it up is really kind of hard. So mask it off and stamp it. Stamp it real good, because we're not using a Stamparatus, so you get one shot at it. And then take these off, and then put the duck where you want it. Now I'm going to move mine up a little. Well, no, I'm going to leave it right where it is. I'm going to put it like right here. I'm going to put it in the lower right hand part of the card, just like so. You're going to take that fussy cut item and grab some tape that you know will mask. That means it'll stick but not leave anything behind. And I grabbed that teal one from the big box store. So anyway, I'm going to just mask that on there, and I use my silicone craft sheet too. It keeps my work area nice and clean. All right, and I'm gonna mask it. Now we're going to take the water stamp from High Tide, and this is a clear stamp, so you need a stamping pad here. And I'm going to grab some Memento, and I am going to stamp right over that mask. And every time I stamp, and you only got one shot, so you got to make sure it's nice and inked, I'm going to take that stamp and turn it over so it doesn't leave the same kind of imprint all over the place. So I'm going to fill up this whole page and I'll be right back. Now to do our color. So we're going to have Daffodil Delight, Pumpkin Pie, and Cajun Craze. We're going to start with Daffodil Delight. You always start with your light color first. Now with these new brushes, and these are the Stampin' Up ones, so go ahead and feel free to place an order with me. Anyway, we're going to go ahead, and the sun is going to come in like this. So I'm going to do a concentrated color over here, not so much on this side, but I'm just going to do it right in here. And another thing I like about these brushes is you can tell what color they are. With the darker ones, it's like, what, you know, if you mix them up, it's like, oh darn it, and you almost have to like clean them off and get new ones. So here's the pumpkin pie. The pumpkin pie I'm going to put everywhere, and if you notice, I'm stamping it on the pad, stamping it off on my scratch piece, and then I'm coming in circles. And I will hold down my duck because that tape isn't, you know, 100%. So let's go ahead and fill in the background here. You might have to do it, you know, just enough for however you want it to be. Oops, I didn't stamp off. Okay. I'm gonna grab that. Oh, all right, here's one thing you need to do when you're doing any kind of inking. Just grab a piece, Post-it, put the sticky on your fingers, put your fingers down so you don't leave a fingerprint like I just did. So I'm going to try to clean that up there. Now I'm going to go in with my Cajun Craze. I'm going to stamp it real good. See how dark it is. Sometimes if your ink pads are a little dry, then you don't have to stamp off so much. Or if you want the color to be more intense, then don't stamp off. Just be careful, make sure you put the circles in so you don't do a big old splotch. Now I'm just going to even up the colors here. So I might go back with my Daffodil, and I might take it full strength because there's so many dark colors around it. I'm not really worried about splotching it so much. So I'm going to put that intense yellow in here. Okay, I'm going to go back with the pumpkin pie. And I'm not going to stamp off. My pumpkin pie is a little dry. I'm not stamping off. And then I'm going to go in with my Cajun Craze, and I'm going to give it a bunch of color. And I'm going to make it darker on the edges. Now for a little trick, we're going to take the Whisper White refill and just a little container here and just put like one drop. I mean, a little goes a long way, and this stuff stays wet forever. So after we do this, we're going to hit it with the heat gun or something and try to get it to dry. And definitely don't put this in an envelope right away. Let it dry overnight. So we're going to take a little bit of the Whisper White and grab a brush with kind of a short, thin, controllable edge on it. And we're going to do a little bit of white for the water. And I might take my blending pen, my blending brushes, and even go over it a little bit. Okay, and just put in a little bit. Now I'm going to hit it with my gun a little bit, just because this stuff does take forever to dry. So you definitely want to make sure it's all the way dry before you put it in an envelope, and then it's, you know, so it doesn't stick. So hit it with your heat gun, let it dry overnight, and so it'll be dry. You know, I do want to darken this up a little bit, so I'm going to take that same brush from Cajun Craze and put a little soft suede on it. Rub it out real good, and I'm going to do the edges real quick here. Darken up where it should be dark, so like the right and the left hand side and the bottom, but not that middle part where we hit that full strength yellow, and just kind of darken it up a tiny bit. Now we're going to go ahead and take the duck off. So take your mask off, and then I like the color black out of the Stampin' Right basic black. You can just buy this black marker. You don't have to buy the whole kit. So it's part number 1000A2. It's like $4. And go ahead and darken out, black out the entire duck. Just be careful of staying in the lines. And so I'm going to do that, and I'll be right back. Now there might be some white edges on your duck. Just take your blending brush and kind of go over them a little bit, and then give it another layer of black. I'm gonna do that. I'll be right back. I'm gonna make a few little tiny tweaks here. I gave that duck like 4 coats of black, so really get that on there good. I'm gonna put a little bit more of the white here with the brush, and just because I rubbed a bit of it off, and I'll let it dry here. Like I said, I'll hit it with the heat gun later and get that to dry a bit. So that's the coloring technique for the duck. Let's bring our base back. So we're putting this technique, which is on this card, on this base. So let's go ahead, and we already put our black piece on here we cut earlier. I'm going to take it and I'm going to put it in the middle like so. And now I'm going to grab the smallest 2 of the rectangle stitched frames, and I'm going to cut the bigger one in basic black, and then I'm going to grab the smaller one and I'm going to cut it on the Whisper White. But before that, I want to grab the stamp, and it's right here, and the memento, and go ahead and we're going to stamp it on the scrap first. It is such a small cut that you definitely want to make sure it's lined up correctly. So go ahead and stamp that in memento, and then we're going to grab that small die and we're going to tape it on here and run it through the die cutter. Now in the meantime, while I was die cutting this, I ran and I washed my hands. So do an inkjet now, because that's a good time to do it. Now I'm going to go ahead and grab my dimensionals and put it on the back here, and these are the little mini ones. I really like the mini ones, so I'm going to put 4 of those on there. And before I even put it on here, I'm going to snail this up, and I'm going to put it on the card, and I'm going to put this in the middle like so. Took the backs off the dimensionals, and now I'm going to place it in the middle here. Now the fun part, we need to put on our little Embellishments, and these are the matte black dots, and I'm just going to put on some dots right in the corner, and I'm grabbing the largest ones because they come in 3 different sizes on this sheet. So I'm just going to put them in the corner like that. So you can see how this card is a hybrid of the other 2. So I mean, it's taking both elements out of that and putting it in the one. So now let's go ahead and do the inside. Now the inside is Calypso Coral 5 1/4 by 4. The black is 5 by 3.75, and the white is 4.75 by 3.5. And go ahead and just layer those right on up. And then we're gonna take the sentiment and put it on, of course, the white. But before we even do that, let's do the duck. So grab that same stamp and the memento. Let's get rid of this pad here. And this is one of the orange stamps, so we don't need a Stampin' pad. And ink that up really good because you get one shot, because we're not using our Stamparatus at the moment. And I'm gonna put him right here. He looks good. And then I'm gonna put the thank you from the field journal as well, and I'm just going to put it right there. Now let's color the duck because I do like him colored. So I'm going to take the dark mango melody and I'm going to do his beak and his feet. Now I'm going to grab the dark just jade and I'm going to do his head, and I'm going to make sure I don't hit the inside of his eye there. I want to leave the eye white. Now I'm going to grab the bronze. I don't know if you know, there's a bronze Stampin' Blend, but there is. So I'm going to do just his chest. I'm going to do a couple of layers of the bronze. I'm going to make it nice and bright, and then leave that collar white on the duck in between. Next, I'm going to grab the light crumb cake and I'm going to do his belly and this bottom feather right here. Last color I'm going to use is the dark crumb cake, and I'm going to color the top part of his feathers. Now for a little finishing touch, I decided to take a little bit of Wink of Stella and just put it on his head and just make that green, that gorgeous jade green color pop out. And the only thing you have to be careful of is just let it dry before you start closing up the card and putting it in envelopes and stuff, because this stays wet for a little while. Last thing left is just to put it inside your card, and that's it. Now remember, if you want to win the demo card, and I am giving away 3 of them, need to put your name or your email in my comments, say you like the card, and I will give 1 out to a subscriber and 2 out for a new subscriber. So that is a combination of these 2 cards. So that'll do it for me. Thanks. Bye.